Hey guys, so just to talk about what we did in class, the front page of this is just information for you. Everything on the right side are all the different reasons that you could use for your proofs. And then you have your vocabulary. Don't forget about your exterior angle theorem. The two inside or interior angles add up to equal the exterior. So I just wanted to look at the last proof with you. You're welcome for putting the statements in for your givens. All right, so the reason for all of those given. All right, so let's see what we have. It's important to mark your picture on the quiz. I noticed some of you weren't doing that and then couldn't figure out how to prove the triangles were congruent. So make sure you're marking up your picture. All right, so angle E is congruent to angle B. Nice, so we have an angle already. DC is congruent to DC is congruent to AF. Now, if you notice, that's just part of a side. But notice, you're trying to prove that these two triangles are congruent. In order to use this side, you have to have the whole side, but look at the relationship there. They both share this CF or FC segment. So I'm going to use that. So I first need to say CF is congruent to itself by the reflexive property. And then you can actually use it to add. So if I take DC and add that section, I get the whole side. And it's the same as taking AF and adding that section. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to use addition. And if it helps, circle what you're adding. So I'm taking number 3, DC, and adding it to number 6, CF. And when we actually add it, we get DC plus CF is congruent to AF plus CF. And what did you do there? Addition. Or addition postulate. Either one is acceptable. So on your picture, if you look, DC plus CF is this whole side DF. So we're going to actually say DF. You're basically taking out the middleman. You're taking out that C. Same thing, if I take AF and CF, I'm just left with AC. And that was just simplifying. All right, anytime you add or subtract, your next step is going to be to simplify, to tell me what you actually get when you do it. And now what you have is this whole side is congruent to that whole side. So we have a side of our triangle. We have an angle, we have a side. And then our last givens, I see perpendicular, so I know one of my reasons is going to be definition of perpendicular. What does it mean if two things are perpendicular? They form right angles. So angle D and angle A are right. And how did we know that? Definition of perpendicular. Again, if you see it up here, you're going to use it down here. All right, and since we know that they're both right, that means they're both 90 degrees, so they're equal to each other. Angle D is congruent to angle A because all right angles are congruent. And now we have everything we need to prove our triangles are congruent. Okay, we have these angles, we have these angles, and we have the side. And we're not going by the way we did it in the proof because you can do it any order you want. If you did it this way, it's ASA, but that's not how you proved it. Look at your picture. If you're not marking your picture, you're probably getting it wrong. So angle, angle, side. All right, so our very last statement is always what it's asking you to prove. Triangle DEF is congruent to triangle ABC. and the reason, angle, side. All right, so we're going to go over the rest of these in class tomorrow. You should be, for homework, giving them a try. I don't want you to come in tomorrow and say, I didn't understand it, and just have a blank paper. You can at least get your givens ready, look for any freebies, and we'll review tomorrow and test on Monday. Have a good day. Stop by and see me or stop in the math lab if you have questions.